12 months. Sign up before midnight on the 31st of December.
All the latest stories for you now with the ITV Lunchtime News.
Good afternoon, I'm Faye Barker. A man has been charged with 4 counts of attempted murder after 4 people were hit by a car in London's West End in the early hours of Christmas Day. One of the victims remains in a critical condition. Our reporter Will Tullis is at the scene. So, Will, what's the latest?
Yeah, so in the past few hours, Faye, the Metropolitan Police has charged 30-year-old Anthony Gilheeney with a number of offences, including, as you say, 4 counts of attempted murder, causing serious injury by driving whilst disqualified, driving a vehicle dangerously, and possession of a bladed article in a public place. This all relates to an incident that took place in the early hours of Christmas Day. Police were called here to Shaftesbury Avenue in Soho after a car was seen driving on the wrong side of the road. Authorities said they believed the suspect was involved in an altercation at a nightclub here before he allegedly got into his car and mounted the pavement. 4 people were injured and taken to hospital, one of whom remains there in a critical condition. The Met has confirmed this was an isolated incident and is not terror-related. They also say their thoughts are with the victims. Meanwhile, Anthony Gilheeney will appear in Westminster Magistrates Court later today.
OK, Will, thank you. To the Middle East, and Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu says airstrikes on Yemen will continue until the job is done. Well, the warning came amid a barrage on targets yesterday, which Israel says are linked to the Houthis, a group backed by Iran. At least 3 people were killed and dozens wounded. The Houthis have retaliated in a sign of yet more unrest in the region. Olivia Guthrie reports.
Sirens ring out in Tel Aviv overnight. The Israeli army say this Houthi missile was intercepted before it hit. This is the latest attack, retaliation for Israeli airstrikes on Yemen. There was chaos at the international airport in Sana'a as passengers fled the aerial assault, among them the Director General of the World Health Organization. In Yemen to negotiate the release of detained UN staff. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says he was just meters from the impact of the blasts. He wasn't hurt, but a UN colleague was. Tedros says he's in a stable condition in hospital. At least 3 others were killed and dozens more injured in the attack. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to cut off the Yemen branch of Iran's so-called axis of resistance, threatening the Houthis there with the same fate delivered by Israel to Hamas in Gaza, where authorities say at least 38 people have been killed in a day, among them 5 Palestinian journalists who died in an attack outside a hospital. Israel says it was targeting a militant group. Netanyahu has asked the UN Security Council to table an emergency meeting on Monday, demanding global leaders condemn the latest Houthi attacks on Tel Aviv and Iran for supplying the weapons. Olivia Guthrie, ITV News.
2 sailors on separate boats have been killed in boom accidents on a stormy first night of the annual Sydney to Hobart race. The incidents happened 2 hours apart. Officials later said a sailor was washed overboard on another boat but was rescued. The race is expected to continue.
Men and women of New South Wales Police are still out there with the fleet continuing south. It's going to be a challenging night in Bass Strait. There's big seas coming.
There have been chaotic scenes in South Korea's parliament after politicians voted to impeach the country's acting president, Han Duck-soo. It comes just 2 weeks after a vote to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol over his attempt to impose martial law. And authorities in India have announced an extended 7 days of mourning to honour former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh after his death at the age of 92. Current Prime Minister Narendra Modi has praised Singh for saving the country from economic crisis. Now, many people are back on the move again after Christmas festivities, but the rail network is subject to major engineering work causing disruption to some journeys. In the north of England, Crewe Station is closed with disruption to Avanti services on the line between London and Glasgow. In the east of England, Greater Anglia cross-country and Great Northern services are affected to and from Birmingham, Norwich, Cambridge and Stansted Airport. In London, Paddington Station will remain closed until the 30th, so that means Great Western trains to and from Cornwall, Devon, Swansea and Cardiff are using Euston Station today instead. And there are major works underway at St Pancras and at Liverpool Street Station, which is closed until January the 2nd. NASA's Parker solar probe has phoned home, providing confirmation that it survived its record-breaking closest approach to the sun earlier this week. Well, the mission operations team in Maryland received the signal in the early hours of this morning. The data-gathering spacecraft zipped by the sun on Christmas Eve at 430,000 miles per hour. That's the fastest speed ever reached by a human-made object, coming within 3.8 million miles of the solar surface. Finally, if it wasn't enough to conquer the South Pole, adventurer Preet Chandy hopes to become the first woman to travel solo and unsupported to the North Pole. The former army officer, nicknamed Polar Preet, is in training for the challenge, which she hopes to begin in March. The 36-year-old will face temperatures of minus 50 degrees Celsius for the near 500-mile trek. She says she wants to encourage others to also push their boundaries. Well, that is all from us for now. Mary's here with the evening news at 6:15. The news where you are is next. Until then, have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Visibility may be low this evening as the cold weather hits. Heinz Soups sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello, a very good afternoon to you. A pretty foggy start for many of us today. Plenty of cloud on this morning's satellite and radar image. One or two breaks offering a bit of brightness on the tops of the hills, with patchy rain for northern and western areas as we head through the rest of today. Temperatures are on the mild side in general, but it's misty, murky, damp and grey for many of us as we head through into this evening. Avoiding a frost, but fog reforming quite widely across England and Wales, with rain for northern and western areas as we approach dawn. One or two heavy bursts, winds picking up a little bit in the far north before tomorrow morning. A slow start to the day with that fog reluctant to lift across England and Wales, perhaps breaking up a little bit during the afternoon, but another fairly cloudy day in prospect. Rain for northern and western areas will gradually sink southwards and die away through the day. Behind it, brighter skies in the far north and a few showers feeding in behind. As we look ahead to the next few days, in general, it remains mild. Bye-bye.
Heinz Soups sponsors ITV National Weather.
Our biggest dramas on ITVX.
Hi, bomb disposal. I need you to stay still for me, OK? I'm going to help you. Listen to me, please. Stay still.
Someone else is in control of the IED.
Trigger Point, one of our most streamed dramas on ITVX.
Prynhawn da, I'm Kate Lewis. The headlines now in Wales. A mum from Newport is urging pregnant women to take up a new vaccine, protect babies against the respiratory virus RSV. Carolyn's son William caught it when he was 2 years old and ended up in hospital with bronchiolitis. It comes as doctors say they're seeing an increase in demand for cot beds in hospitals at this time of year due to the condition.
It was really scary. He was breathing, like sucking in under his ribs, so he wasn't breathing properly. And like I said, he hadn't really eaten and drunk for quite a few hours. So as soon as they got there, they put him on nebulizers and an inhaler, and then his breathing started to get a bit more back to normal then.
Some rail passengers are facing delays as engineering works take place across the network. Those travelling to London from South Wales are being diverted to Euston due to planned work at Paddington, while Transport for Wales services around Cardiff have been hit after a points failure. Passengers are being urged to check before they travel. Tributes have been paid to former Wales and Swansea second row Jeff Wheel, who's died at the age of 73. He won 32 caps for his country in an 8-year spell, winning 2 Grand Slams and a hat-trick of Triple Crowns. Nicknamed Gaffer, he played over 300 times for Swansea, captaining the All-Whites to several honours, including the Anglo-Welsh Championship. Sport now, and Cardiff won a close-fought match against fellow rivals the Dragons at Rodney Parade last night. Tries from Welsh internationals Teddy Williams and Josh Adams helped the Capitals side to a 2-point victory as they beat their East Wales rivals by 24 points to 22. It moves Cardiff into third in the table, while the Dragons remain bottom. Turning to football, and Swansea secured a comfortable 3-0 victory against Queen's Park Rangers yesterday, while Cardiff's miserable run continues as they lost away at Oxford by 3-2. In League One, a late Sean Fletcher penalty secured all 3 points for Wrexham at home to Blackpool, while in League Two, Newport County lost to Bromley by 5-2. Let's take a look at the weather now. Here's Ross.
Visibility is clear today, both above and below the water. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hello, good afternoon. Once again, the cloud dominating for the most part. Some murky conditions. We have seen the cloud trapped over much of the UK with high pressure in control, and we're seeing highs of around 5 or 6 degrees. Out towards coastal areas, maybe not quite as chilly, but still a rather dreary day for the most part. And as we make our way through the late evening and overnight, still plenty of clouds, some drizzle where that cloud is thick enough, patches of fog forming into the early hours too, as temperatures drop down to around 4 or 5 degrees. So again, a chill in the air as we start the day on Saturday. Very similar to today, with a bit more hope we'll see some brighter breaks developing as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures struggling. We've got highs between around 6 and 9 degrees.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
And that's all for the moment. We'll be back at 6 o'clock with your next update. I hope you can join us then. But for now, hwyl fawr.
A little Prosecco deal, a gift to the host, even when they're out of flutes to toast. Have a magical Christmas with Lidl.
Step in.